POV YN. My head pounds like a sledgehammer hitting concrete, a violent, sickening throb that makes my teeth ache. But it's the heavy, freezing metal wrapped around my left ring finger that makes my lungs seize completely. I blink against the harsh, agonizing morning light filtering through dirt-streaked windows. This isn't my aesthetic plant-filled apartment. This isn't even the damn city. I'm staring at a rotting, water-stained wooden ceiling in what looks like an isolated hunting cabin from a horror movie. The smell of damp pine, old dust, metallic blood, and cheap whiskey chokes the claustrophobic air. Outside, rain lashes violently against the glass, sounding like shattered bones. I try to sit up, to run, to scream, but a massive, heavily tattooed arm is clamped over my waist like an iron vise, completely pinning me to a lumpy, creaking mattress. The raw heat radiating from the body behind me is suffocating. My blood turns to absolute ice. I turn my head, my neck stiff and aching. Sleeping next to me, his dark hair messy and falling over a bruised split eyebrow, is John Jungkook, my best friend's older brother. The 27-year-old walking red flag I've spent my entire 23 years of existence aggressively avoiding. He's an unhinged nightmare dressed in custom leather, a man entirely wrapped in rumors of underground syndicates, shattered jaws, and ruthless violence. And right now, his bare, muscle-corded chest is pressed flush against my spine. And on his left hand, resting possessively low on my hip, his long fingers practically digging into my skin, is a thick, black tungsten band. Stop thinking so loud. YN. A deep, gravelly voice vibrates right against the nape of my neck, sending an involuntary, humiliating shiver down my spine. My fucking head is splitting. Jungkook, I whisper, my voice cracking, my throat tasting like ash and tequila. Why the hell are we in a cabin in the middle of the woods? And I swallow hard, my chest heaving in pure panic as I lift my trembling left hand. Why am I wearing a ring that looks like it cost more than my entire life? He groans, a low, primal sound that does things to my stomach I refuse to acknowledge. The mattress violently dips as he shifts his massive weight, propping himself up on one elbow to cage me in. His dark, pitch-black eyes, completely devoid of sleep, lock onto mine. There's no panic in them, just a terrifying, predatory, dead calm intensity. Because we got married last night, sweetheart, he says, his voice a rough, dark purr. And then, we had to get the hell out of the city before someone put a bullet in your pretty head. Married! I violently shove at his rock-hard chest, scrambling backward until my spine slams hard into the freezing wooden headboard. Are you out of your fucking mind? We hate each other. You literally threatened to throw me out of a moving car last week. That was last week, he smirks, the arrogant curl of his lip making my blood boil. He rubs his sharp, bruised jaw, his eyes dragging down my disheveled frame with unapologetic hunger. Last night, you were begging me not to let you go. You were completely wrapped around me. Bullshit! I scream, my lungs burning as I yank the thin, scratchy blanket up to my chest. I would never! You're completely delulu! I was drunk! We were at that stupid underground club and... I choke on my own words, clutching my pounding head as a fragmented, chaotic memory violently hits me. Blinding neon lights, the deafening crack of gunshots over the bass drop, screaming, blood splattering on the VIP glass. Jungkook's massive hand gripping my wrist tight enough to bruise, yanking me through a pitch-black back alley while I sobbed, "What happened, Jungkook? Why aren't we at a hotel? Why are we hiding out like stray dogs?" His smirk drops instantly. The temperature in the room plummets below zero. He lunges forward, moving with that lethal, terrifying grace that always made me keep my distance. He doesn't stop until his face is mere inches from mine. His large... his voice dropping dangerously low. His gaze drops to my mouth before snapping back to my wide, terrified eyes. "You don't remember me dragging your drunk ass to the nearest safe house? Or the part where you cried, terrified they'd skin you alive if they found out who you were to me?" "I'm your sister's best friend," I choke out, my chest brushing against his with every frantic breath. "I would have left your ass bleeding out at the club." He snarls softly, leaning closer until our noses brush. "You're a John now. You're my wife, for better or for fucking worse. and right now, things are looking pretty damn worse. I want an annulment, a divorce, I want to go home. I spit, my hands balling into fists against his chest. Not happening. You can't force me to stay legally bound to a criminal. Fucking watch me. Outside this cabin, you're a target. They will hunt you, and they will break you to get to me. As long as you have my name, my ring on your finger, and me standing in front of you, you live. Do you understand? I stare at him, my heart hammering violently against my ribs. The sheer, overwhelming intensity radiating from his massive frame is suffocating. I've known him my whole life, but I've never seen him like this. Unmasked, raw, dominant, dangerous, and God help me, the hot, heavy thrill. Jungkook murmurs, his dark eyes flashing with pure heat as craving she's fighting to bury. Don't look at me like that, YN, I growl, my voice a jagged, gravelly rasp. You want to play the victim? Fine, but you need to realize one thing. We're playing by my ducking rules now. I release her jaw, but my hand instantly snakes to the back of her neck, my palm pressing against her skin, feeling the frantic, erratic hammer of her pulse. It's intoxicating. Your rules? She scoffs, though her voice lacks its earlier bite, shaky and breathless. She tries to shove me away again, her small hands digging into my biceps, but I don't move. I'm a mountain of obsession, and she's a storm. I didn't ask for your twisted protection. I didn't ask to be your ducking wife. You're a goddamn sociopath, Jungkook. You dragged me into your gutter, and I want out before I lose my mind. The gutter is the only place where people are real, sweetheart. You're mine, and I don't share what's mine. I don't even let people look at what's mine. The cabin is rotting, but it's secure. My men are circling the perimeter, hidden in the shadows of the pines, waiting for my signal to kill. You think this is some sick game? She shouts, swinging her legs off the mattress. She's disheveled, her shirt hanging off one shoulder, the sight of her raw vulnerability making my blood burn with a violent, possessive heat. I have a life. I have a best friend who's going to skin you alive when she finds out what you did. I stop dead, turning to face her with a cold, humorless, and terrifying grin. Your best friend? You mean my sister? The one who knows exactly what I am? She's the one who practically pushed you into my arms, YN. She's the one who told me you've been staring at me from across. Her face goes ghost white, then a deep, burning, humiliated red. She lied! She's as fucking twisted as you are. Maybe I can clutching my forearms, fingers digging into my ink. But she's right about one thing. You've wanted this as much as I have. I hate you, she whispers, her voice trembling. But her grip on my arms tightens, pulling me closer until there's no air left between us. Keep saying it, I murmur, my thoughts. But when the night comes and those bastards find this place, you're going to be clinging to me like your life depends on it. Because it does. You'll be begging me to keep you safe, and I'll be only too happy to own you. A sudden, sharp crack echoes from the woods, a twig snapping under a heavy boot. My entire demeanor shifts. The playfulness vanishes, replaced by the cold, lethal focus of a man who lives on the edge of a blade. I pull a heavy pistol from the waistband of my jeans and shove it into her hand, wrapping my fingers over hers. She gasps, the cold steel biting into her soft palm. Jungkook! Stay behind me, I command, my voice a low, lethal hum that leaves no room for debate. If the door opens, you don't ask who it is. You shoot. You want to survive this marriage? Prove to me you have the spine to do what's necessary. She looks at the gun, then up at me, her eyes darkening with a newfound terrifying resolve. The fear is still there, but it's being eclipsed by something raw and violent. If we get out of this alive, she says, her voice steadying into a blade, I'm divorcing your ass, and I'm taking every damn thing I can get. I let out a dark, genuine, jagged laugh, pressing my forehead against hers, closing my eyes for a split second to inhale the scent of her hair. You can take everything I own, sweetheart. I whisper, my eyes locking with hers, burning with an obsession that will outlive us both, but you're never, ever getting rid of me. The door splinters inward with a deafening boom. POV Jungkook. The heavy oak door splinters inward with explosive boom. Wood shards fly through the damp air like shrapnel. Before the first shadow can even cross the threshold, my instincts take over. I slam my body weight into YN, throwing her flat onto the cold, rotting floorboards behind the heavy iron bed frame. She lets out a sharp gasp, the breath knocked completely out of her as I shield her body with mine. Stay down and don't fucking move! I roar over the sudden, blinding flash of gunfire. The room erupts into absolute chaos. The smell of sulfur, gunpowder, and burning wood instantly chokes my lungs. I pivot on my knee, leveling my piece at the doorway. A masked figure steps through, gun raised, but he's too ducking slow. I pull the trigger twice. The cracks echo violently in the small space, and the man drops like a stone, his blood splattering across the dirty floorboards. Jungkook! YN screams, her voice laced with panic, her hands frantically gripping the back of my leather jacket. She's trembling violently beneath me, but when I look down, her eyes aren't weak. They are burning with a terrifying, wild adrenaline. Another shadow appears at the shattered window. I don't have time to aim. Shoot the window! YN, now! I snarl, grabbing her wrist and forcing her arm upward. Her knuckles are white around the cold steel of the pistol I gave her. For a split second, she hesitates, her breath hitching in her throat. Then a raw, primal curse leaves her lips. Duck it! She screams and pulls the trigger. The recoil sends a shockwave up her arm, but the bullet finds its mark. The glass shatters completely, followed by a heavy thud outside. She actually did it. A dark, twisted surge of pride explodes in my chest. My sweet, innocent little civilian just drew first blood for me. Good girl, I growl, leaning down to press a hard, bruising kiss against her sweaty forehead. I knew you had a ducking spine. The gunfire outside finally dies down, replaced by the heavy, rhythmic thud of boots on wet gravel. My men have secured the perimeter. The threat is neutralized. I look down at the girl trembling beneath me. As my chest heaves against hers, against the dirty floorboards, her pulse is racing out of hatred. I slowly push myself up, grabbing the pistol from her shaking hands and tossing it aside. Get off me, she gasps, shoving violently at my chest. Her voice is shaking, but her eyes are wild. She scrambles backward until her spine hits the wall, pulling her torn shirt up over her collarbone. Don't you ducking touch me, Jungkook. You almost got us killed. I kept you alive, I correct her coldly, rising to my feet and towering over her. The smell of gunpowder and rain sweeps through the shattered window. And you just put a bullet through a man to protect me. Not bad for a girl who claims she wants me dead. I shot to survive, she screams, her voice cracking as she glares up at me. I don't care about you. You're a monster. The second we are out of these woods, I am legally erasing this stupid, forced marriage. A dark, cruel laugh rips its way out of my throat. I drop to my knees. So entirely full of shit, and it thrills me to no end. You're still playing this game? I whisper, my voice dropping to a jagged, mocking rasp. You're still pretending you don't want to be wearing my ring? I'm not pretending, she spits, her chest heaving. I hate you. Just like you hate going to keep lying to my face, YN, or did the tequila actually wipe your memory that completely? She freezes. Her breath hitches. What are you talking about? I lean in. Voice. You don't remember crying into my leather jacket in the back of the getaway car? You don't remember wrapping your arms around my neck and begging me not to let you go? Shut up, she whispers, her eyes widening in absolute horror. You're lying. You told me you've been obsessed with me since you were 19. I snarl softly, my hand gripping her jaw, forcing her to look into my pitch black eyes. The anger and the raw possessiveness I've been holding back for years finally snaps. You told me you loved me. You begged me to ruin you, YN, so that no other man could ever touch you. And when I asked you if you wanted to be mine permanently, you dragged me to that efficient yourself. No! She violently shakes her head, tears of humiliation welling in her eyes. No, I was drunk. It wasn't real. You manipulated me. It was the most real you've ever ducking been. I growl. Lives to remind you exactly who you belong to. I turn my back on her and walk out the splintered doorway into the rain.